The NBA has a long history of predicting its next stars and then being horribly wrong. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was picked 11th, Giannis went 15th, Jokic was a second rounder taken during a Taco Bell ad, and now, pick number 16 of the 2023 draft, Keyonte George, is showing us just how wrong scouts can be again. In the last 9 games, Keyonte is averaging 30.8 points, 7 assists, and 5.2 rebounds per game. Not only spiking him into all-star consideration, but the best part, Keyonte George just turned 22 years old. This is not just a hot start. The signs for this explosion have been in front of our faces before Keyonte ever stepped onto an NBA court. So our question today is, how did the league mess up this badly? Because you may be thinking, a 9-game stretch is nice, but how about Keyonte's full season numbers? Well, here he is in year 3 compared to year 3 Shai, Steph, Russ, and Harden. As we can see, Keyonte George is leading this group in scoring, is second in assists, and third in rebounds. Are we in a more fast-paced era? Yes. But we have to admit, Keyonte's numbers next to 4 MVPs look absurdly impressive, especially when we consider that when it comes to players taking the leap, there are always 3 noticeable changes we see as they rise to stars. Change number 1 is shooting efficiency. And in his first 2 seasons, Keyonte George shot under 40% from the field. Not good, he was seen as an inefficient chucker. But now, he's gliding to the rim. He's draining threes from everywhere, he's moving off the ball, and his true shooting percentage of 61.3% is only slightly behind Wemby and is actually better than Luka Doncic. Now that's not saying that he is Luka Doncic. What it is saying is that Keyonte is now producing at a level where the Jazz feel comfortable building the offense around him. So with all of these big name comparisons on the table, what exactly scared teams into letting Keyonte slip to pick number 16? Well, in high school, Keyonte was a top 10 recruit who had the chance to be a top 5 pick if he produced. And at Baylor, on the surface, the talent to be a future all-star even appeared to be there. When Keyonte was in the zone, he was dropping 20 points with ease as his shot making just looked different. He was named Big 12 Rookie of the Year, but leaving college, 2 massive problems were plaguing him. The first was scouts were really labeling him as a potential inefficient gunner. Keyonte was able to get any shot he wanted, he was very creative, but he made just 37.6% of his shots in college, a big time red flag. He also averaged just 2.8 assists per game as his natural position was shooting guard, but in the NBA, that didn't look like it would work. So scouts also questioned his size. They questioned if he could transition over to the point guard spot. The fear wasn't, can he score? It was, can he run an offense in the NBA if he's never run one before? And as we know, if teams don't know what position you're going to play in the league, that can be an NBA draft death sentence. Only for Keyonte George, it turned out that the biggest flaw scouts saw in him would soon become his biggest strength. But before we continue, I will admit, I am always looking for the best ticket prices for St. John's games, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. SeatGeek has you covered with the best ticket prices possible, and I mean, right now we are at the peak of sports. The NFL and college football are in full swing, the NBA is back, you can even get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek. There are over 70,000 events listed, including concerts and more, not just sports, and I have been buying St. John's tickets and NBA tickets in general from SeatGeek forever. I always use SeatGeek. I really love their scale of 1 to 10 on how great of a deal you are getting on that specific ticket. It ensures you get the best deal, and of course, SeatGeek has us covered. I have a code for you. You can use Korzemba 10 for 10% off of your next order. That is 10% off of any tickets on SeatGeek using the code Korzemba 10. So make sure to click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your profile so that you get that 10% off. That's an absolute no-brainer. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to that video. After the 2023 draft, Keyonte George had a very interesting phone lock screen. Not a celebration picture, but a list. As we can see, Keyonte was reminding himself of the weaknesses that scouts were judging him by: athleticism, 3-point consistency, shot selection, and passing/turnovers. Yup. It turned out falling in the draft was the best thing that could have ever happened to him because it lit a fire in him. Now, I mentioned before, when a player takes a leap, we can see 3 noticeable changes. Change 1 was the efficiency in his scoring, but now let's talk about change 2, Keyonte's playmaking. He was a shooting guard his entire life, but this season, Keyonte George is already 13th in the NBA in assists per game with 6.8. He is doing what scouts never believed he could do, running an offense, and we have seen his assist numbers noticeably improve year after year. Already great, but get this. The most assists per game Kyrie Irving has had in a season was 6.9. For Shea, that career high is this season with 6.4. The point being here, score-first guards aren't supposed to take this much of a leap in playmaking, but Keyonte is actually overperforming. He is proving through a tireless work ethic and film study that you really can grow into a point guard if the baseline ability is there. We see this in the game tape. Here against the Pistons, the defense jumps out on a 3-point attempt, and instead of throwing up a tough shot, Keyonte feeds Nurkic for an easy layup. This only works because on this pick and roll, Keyonte shows us he's more than willing to step into that 3 and knock it down. Now, on a similar play later in the game, Keyonte is patient. He sees Lowry's defender help, and then he hits with a fake pass and feeds Lowry for an open 3. This is the kind of progression you want to see from a player who is not a natural point guard. And now, down 3 late, Keyonte gets crowded. He needs to make a play, and he does have a shot, but instead, he finds a more open corner shooter. The point we have to take in here is that Keyonte's scoring is what sets him apart, but because he's a threat from anywhere, just making the right play is what unlocks his team's offense to its full potential. But speaking of scoring, tie game, shot clock off.
Gotta get a good one here. Jazz can win with a bucket. Keyonte splits in the paint. Got it! Got it! Keyonte with 2.1 to play against the beast of the East.
And this game winner shows us the 3rd change in Keyonte's play. I would also say the most impressive change. He's becoming immune to pressure. If you are going to be the best player, the best scorer on any team, you are going to have your name near the top of the scouting report, which means you need to be able to score in any situation against the other team's best perimeter defender, which makes what Keyonte is doing that much more impressive. Everywhere on the stat sheet, he is improving. Keyonte is taking the ball to the rim with so much more confidence, and he's making over 3 more free throws a game this year, which ranks him 7th in the league in free throws made per game, and he's shooting over 90% on his free throws, which is crazy, but it gets better. His 3-point shooting is up, and so is his percentage at the rim. This season, Keyonte is shooting 75.6% at the basket, compared to last year where he shot just 62.7%. Defenses are hounding him. They are treating him like a star, but it doesn't matter. He is making shots with hands in his face anyway. And at this point, I really think we are looking at an early rise to stardom. Everywhere we look, we see a real origin story of a man who is going to make his mark on this league. The only question is, what is Keyonte George's limit? And there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I really think you're going to like the videos that are currently on the screen. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music.